Let's move on now and answer a question that I hear fairly often. Why do bishops wear all that stuff? That's a good question. A simple answer is that bishops wear different things so that people will know that the bishop is here among the people. It goes back to early times. You see, when the church was new, bishops actually became recognized by the Romans as being important in society, and they gave them the authority to be like judges or police. They were allowed to rule over Christian people in matters of things like law, schools, money, charity, and the things that could actually be said about Jesus. And they were allowed to dress like Roman rulers of the time. They wore special hats that had this shape almost like a triangle. They carried a staff or a stick to show that they had power and authority. And they wore special rings as signs that they were representatives of a higher power. The ring became a sign of their duty. And so you see, when you wore these things, you also had a responsibility to the people and to the church and to the government. Often when the bishop would arrive in a place, people would celebrate with singing and parades and great feasts. All this was done to show love for Jesus and his church. To be thankful for the arrival of the bishop was to be thankful that Jesus had sent people to teach, to share, and that Jesus was with us always. So today, when you see a bishop, you may see him or her wearing everyday clothing, like I usually am when I'm out in my yard or here in my studio. You may see a bishop wearing a purple shirt with a cross around their neck. The purple shirt reminds us of the royalty of Jesus. The cross a bishop wears is usually fairly large and reminds us that Christians have a job to do. It is a bit heavy. So when we see the cross, it reminds us that we should share heavy loads and we should pray for one another. When in church you see that the bishop is usually pretty dressed up. You notice the hat? It's called a mitre, and it is shaped to remind us of a flame, the flame of the Holy Spirit and the fire of God's love. Here on the back of the mitre you see two strips. We call them lappets, and they are there to remind us of the Bible. First of all, the Gospels, which are the stories of people who were actually with Jesus, and the epistles, which are letters that we can read in the Bible, which were sent to new churches everywhere. They are to give us teaching and to share the story of the early church. And the bishop wears a flowing robe known as a cope, which matches the colors of the mitre. It reminds us of the importance of Jesus in the world and in the church. When we dress up to honor him. The bishop will still carry a staff, which we call a crozier. It's a sign of his or her duty as being the main teacher and caretaker of a group of churches. We call that group a diocese. When a bishop visits another diocese, they may wear the cope and the mitre, but they do not carry the crozier. You only carry the crozier in your own diocese. The bishop wears a special ring. Rings can be large or small and usually have a purple stone. The ring sometimes is used like a fingerprint to sign documents. It's always meant to show the special place of the bishop as a teacher and someone who looks over the diocese to make sure everyone is doing okay. Now, there are a few other things that only bishops wear and do, but what I've just shared gives you some idea. And please remember, please, please, please remember that whatever a bishop wears or does, your bishop is a brother or sister to you because of Jesus. Never meant to stand away from you or over you or above you, but someone who is always trying to bring us into a deeper and more beautiful relationship with Jesus and with each other. God bless.